From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine into its 25th consecutive season, powered by cleveland.com. Also powered by cleveland.com. That would be Stephen Means of cleveland.com covering Ohio State. Stephen, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. Great to have you here. Didn't think we'd see this day, a day or two before the opening of the Ohio State season. At what point did you finally believe it was going to happen?
Honestly, when they put the trailer out earlier today, I think before that you're always kind of waiting.
You're going to yank it away. Stephen,
yeah,
can you help?
Yeah,
Stephen, can you help us lift some chairs here to get them out of the way?
So watching the trailer, and they had a speech from Ryan Day at practice, and the motivational speech he was giving, it kind of got me hyped to play a sport, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was the moment when I just kind of felt, yeah, we're here. We actually get to watch some football.
Did you have any thoughts of running out with a tuba and dotting the I?
No, because they probably won't let me back in Ohio Stadium for the next year and a half.
Or the state of Ohio.
They'll probably just kick me out because I probably would have ruined their chances at a championship.
All right, we got lots to talk about. Anthony Lima from 92.3 The Fan will be here. He is an Ohio State graduate, as am I. Stephen, what's your background?
I'm from Columbus, so I grew up around the craziness that is Buckeye Nation, but I actually went to Kent State. So I also know what it's like to root for a losing football team. So, yeah, I know both sides of the spectrum.
That's pretty weird. I went to Ohio State, and I did play-by-play for Kent State, so we got it all in there. All right, let's talk. You didn't know till a couple of weeks ago, a month or so ago, that there was actually going to be Big Ten football. It has come about. Some people are still not happy about it, right?
Yeah, look, I understand why you're not happy about it. You're putting guys at risk who don't necessarily get paid to do this. And so why put their health at risk? At least in the NFL and the NBA, those guys get paid to do it. And in high school, parents have to sign off on that. But college athletes are stuck in between, they're still kids, but they sometimes get treated like pros. And so they don't really have a voice in this. But the players want to play. So if the players want to play and they can create a safe environment for them to do so, why not do it?
Yeah, as long as they're guaranteed that it's a safe environment. I'm not sure how you can do that, but I understand it completely. All right, you open up against Nebraska coming up on Saturday. That's a noon game in Columbus. And you're telling me only 1,600 people, and that includes the workers, the maintenance people, whatever. That's not a lot of people in a place that seats over 100,000 people.
No, it's not. And Ohio State's actually kind of lucky. Wisconsin, they're not letting anybody in who's not playing, or a media member. No fans at all. Ohio State's letting in about 550 family members from Ohio State side, but then they're also letting in about 400 people from Nebraska side, away teams. That's every single week going forward until some things change. And they're trying their best to create their own bubble. Ryan Day talked about the fact that the parents can come to the games, but don't go see your kid afterward. Don't go to your kid's apartment or his dorm afterward. Ryan Day's not staying at home with his family. He's staying by himself, and a lot of the other coaches as well. They're trying their best to, I guess, reenact what the NBA did with their own bubble as best they can, so they can push through this 8-week regular season and get a chance to go at Clemson again. National championship.
It's all uncharted territory to everybody out here, so everybody's going to make the best they can. All right, Ohio State opens up with Nebraska. Then they've got Penn State, and that's a 7:30 game. And Penn State always a tough place to play. You have no idea whether it will be or not this year. Then Rutgers and Maryland, the two newest teams in the league. And Indiana, Illinois, Michigan State. Mel Tucker is the coach there, and the game on the 12th versus Michigan. Some people, I wouldn't be so crude to say this, Stephen, but that could be the bye week. That last.
Yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you. There's not a team on their schedule who can compete with Ohio State because none of them have Justin Fields, none of them have the wide receivers, the offensive line that Ohio State has. None of them, the defense, there are some questions, sure, but there are questions in the case of can they win a national championship, not can they run through the Big Ten. The question is Michigan, though, because they do have a 4-star quarterback, Joe Milton, out of Florida. This is Jim Harbaugh's first quarterback that he actually recruited to play at Michigan, and there's been some great things said about him. We'll see this week when they take on Minnesota if he's actually going to live up to any of that. But other than that, Penn State's lost their best two players, Journey Brown and Micah Parsons, and Nebraska didn't show me anything last year that they're ready to take the next step and be a true competitor in the Big Ten West. So, yeah, I just don't see it. I think Ohio State breezes through that schedule, and they're 9-0 heading into the playoff.
All right, Trevor Lawrence got a head start on the Heisman Trophy. Justin Fields here with Ohio State. What does he have to do to win it? Just play his regular game, or does he have to catch up early in the season?
Yeah, I don't know if Justin Fields can ever do anything regular because he's been so compared to Trevor Lawrence his entire career. They're so linked. They live 20 minutes away from each other. They were the number one and number two guys in their respective recruiting classes. And then we all know what happened last year in the Fiesta Bowl against Clemson. I think what Justin Fields and Ohio State in general has to do is look at what Trevor Lawrence and Clemson have done. Look at what Alabama and Mac Jones have done. And that's their standard. That's how they need to, that's who they're comparing themselves to. So Clemson came out the gate firing. So did Trevor Lawrence. So does Justin Fields, and so does Ohio State. They have to make a statement on Saturday, and because that's what they're trying to keep up with. They're actually trying to get the number one seed in the playoff, and they have the hardest road to get to that because they might have the easiest schedule.
Stephen Means from cleveland.com is with us. We appreciate him stopping by. Ohio State opens up against Nebraska. That'll be at noon on Saturday. Predictions for the 2020 season. You got them, or are you holding them off for some reason?
No, I think this team's going to win a national championship, and I think Justin Fields is going to win a Heisman. He showed so much. He was so much better than I thought he would be in year one. I thought 2020 is what he would be able to do in 2019. The expectations are out the window now. Back before the schedule changed and everything was normal in the world and we weren't walking around with masks, I kind of threw the idea out there on our Buckeye Talk podcast and to our texters that this kid might throw 55-plus touchdown passes or do something similar to what Joe Burrow did last year. Now, obviously, he's not going to throw 60 touchdown passes in 11 games. That's not happening. But, listen, he can throw 45. He can have an historical season. He's already the best most talented quarterback Ohio State has ever had. And I think he's going to have the numbers this year to back up the fact that he's the best quarterback Ohio State has ever had.
All right, just one quick question. We will let you go. Justin Fields put some pressure on him, as if the quarterback at Ohio State doesn't have enough pressure. But he was the one who was behind the rally to get this thing going again. Any extra pressure, or is that just something he was asking for and knew what he was going to get?
No, I think it just shows you how locked in he is to being an Ohio State Buckeye. I don't think Justin Fields has also showed some things this summer I don't think he would have showed last summer. When he first got here from Georgia, this was a business decision. He saw what Ryan Day did for Dwayne Haskins' career and turning him into a first-round draft pick and thought he can do that same thing for me. This was about him learning from Ryan Day, not necessarily because he wanted to be a Buckeye. He had never even been to Columbus, right? Ohio State wasn't high on his list when he was going through the recruiting process. But now that he's been here for a year and the things that they've been through, the Clemson game, the getting knocked out of the Penn State game and the MCL sprain, and then having to play through that. He's actually a true Buckeye now and actually wants to be here. So, yeah, whether it's leading with the We Want to Play campaign, whether it's the social justice issues, he's been at the forefront of a lot of these things that I don't think he would have been last summer. So it's not more pressure. The pressure is already there. We think you're competing with Trevor Lawrence, who's a lot to be the number one pick in the draft. There's no more pressure. It's just now it's time to go play football.
All right, Stephen, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to grab you to come on in a couple of times throughout the season, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I had fun.
Terrific. Stephen Means, read him in cleveland.com. All right, Anthony Lima will be here. You can find him at 92.3 The Fan. More sports and less Levine continues right here on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
At this date in sports history, 1997, Game 4 of the World Series between the Indians and the Marlins registers as the coldest game ever to see a World Series game in World Series history. 38 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill of 83 degrees. Is that right? The Indians won that game. 18 degrees. The Indians won that game. Manny Ramirez and somebody else, Matt Williams, hit home runs in that game. Anthony Lima is here. It's not as cold here as it is. Birthdays today, Jimmy Fox, who wound up living in the Cleveland area. Pete Pijos, Hall of Famer from the Eagles. Mac and Cheese, born on this date. Ichiro Suzuki, as well as Brad Stevens, came in that Bartolo Colon trade. And Robinson Cano, all born on the 22nd of October. Anthony Lima, welcome back from the Mountain West, Las Vegas.
Sin City, right?
Am I allowed to give that away that you were in Las Vegas?
Oh, that's fine. You know what? I got one of those COVID tests right up the nose that, only athletes are privy to. So I think I'm okay. Those are supposed to be 99% accurate. So I think we're good.
To play blackjack, you have to use that?
You got to. Yeah. The nasopharyngeal is what they call it up the nose. And I swear it's about 3 seconds of a lot of lack of comfort, a little bit of eye twitching. But we got through it, Les. We're okay.
Excellent, excellent. How about your wallet? Did that do okay?
They got to mail that back to me. They just take the whole thing. When you're out of money, they don't just take the cards. They take everything in the wallet. Hopefully, it's a miracle I got back.
I want to talk about the Browns and a whole bunch of other things before, but did you hear Stephen Means just drop that nugget on from cleveland.com that he thinks that Justin Fields might have the talent to be the best quarterback in the history of Ohio State?
Well, he's going to have a 2-year sample, so obviously things are different now with the way that quarterbacks at Ohio State, they're in and they're out. And the fact is, we didn't even know we'd get a second year of Justin Fields. We thought it was going to be over after 1 year and he was going to opt out and the season was going to be over. The big bad Big Ten was going to take all these opportunities away from the student athletes. But we're back, and yeah, he's going to dominate. I mean, unless there's some rust that he has to shake off over the next few weeks against Nebraska and Penn State, I think he's going to put up a ton of numbers, and he's got a chance to win the Heisman. And I think it's going to be interesting that his season is probably going to end a little bit later than Trevor Lawrence's season if Clemson's able to get all their games in on time. And I wonder if recency bias is going to help him potentially win the Heisman at the end of the year.
Well, I'm up for bidding. I'm a Heisman voter, so come on, bring it on. Bring the swag on.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun. Trevor's been amazing already, and the Buckeyes licking their chops watching this as all of this has transpired ahead of them. They're going to be very hungry. I feel bad for Nebraska, although I shouldn't because they were the ones that were talking about suing to get out of the Big Ten, and they wanted their football. Hey, guess what? You're going to the horseshoe.
You got it. Yeah, that's not good. Can you imagine that horseshoe? 1,600 people in the game, in the seats.
Unless. It's unfathomable. I mean, think about spring games. They have had spring games with 100,000 fans before. So it's not like you can say, oh, a scrimmage. No, even the scrimmages at Ohio State have more people than any high school game you've ever been around, and most of the Division III football games with the exception of Mount Union. So, yeah, this is going to be bizarre. To not have Brutus the Buckeye, not have the cheerleaders, not have the best damn band in the land. It's going to be very bizarre, and I don't know how this is going to feel. I haven't adequately prepared myself emotionally for how bizarre this is going to be.
Well, how about World Series games and other?
Actually, I am. I've seen games in Champaign, Illinois, and so that's exactly how it'll be.
Nobody would know the difference.
Right.
All right. So, how many? When you were at Ohio State, who was the coach at the time?
That was Jim Tressel had just taken over.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, I think they went undefeated. There was some championship game in Scottsdale, Arizona. I think that Tempe, Arizona. I think that went pretty well for him.
All right, help me out on Baker Mayfield, because I might be the only guy left in town who thinks he has a future and a good one here in Cleveland. What are you thinking?
Well, he might have a future. The problem with the way that NFL works these days is you've got a limited time to try to demonstrate that. And the league doesn't care how many coaches you've had, how many quarterback coaches, how many offensive coordinators. And time is running out. You're seeing a lot of not only local but national people just diagnose his play and say this is not sustainable. Trent Dilfer said his first interception was a high school coach, and how would he know less? He's coaching high school football right now at an academy. And he said that is something I wouldn't let my high school quarterback throw. That first read that got picked off and returned to the house by Minka Fitzpatrick. So he's got to get way better. And the bummer is, while the schedule is conducive for him being able to turn it around, unfortunately, his body might not be able to. Les, right before we went on the air, we were watching together, and he was laboring through 5-yard throws in practice, and that was during only the 15-minute window that they allow photographers to capture the video.
From what we saw, I'll use my play-by-play techniques. You can be the color commentator. Looked like he was thrown to his right, not putting any pressure at all on his left leg, and just flipping the ball. And then as he flipped it, before it got to its target, he was down there looking at his elbow or his arm to see what was left of it. Is that how you saw it?
Les, you should have done this for a living. That was really good. I would add he was wincing. Like when you have a bad batch of How Come Quickies, I've seen Les noticeably wince. I feel bad for him. And I'm like, he's got to retire the bit. But the beauty is you always bring the bit back.
They keep me off radio just long enough to do that. That's what it is.
Yeah, how many months and counting now with this damn pandemic?
Well, speaking of the pandemic, just waste one of your minutes, but it's kind of enthralling to me here. What is Las Vegas like during a pandemic?
Not the same old Las Vegas. You know, Les, when I was young, I would go to Las Vegas and you would see things that were unimaginable. You would see people calling on payphones back then, dating me a little bit, but on payphones going, I need the money wired, no more questions. This is how it's going to go. Now it's very quiet. You're wearing masks everywhere. It's obviously a very different Vegas, and no nightclubs, no pool parties.
Did it look empty? At the pool. Did it look empty to you or not?
Yes, it was totally empty in comparison. Very sad. So if you're under the age of 30, I wouldn't advise going right now. But Les, if you happen to bring a companion and you're with a bunch of couples,
doesn't matter.
It gets the job done. And you know what? The food is still sensational. So
let's get personal. Let's get personal. How's this new thing going?
Well, Les, I found a traveling partner, which anybody who can take me to be bearable for a weekend in Las Vegas, that would make them a keeper, wouldn't you say?
No, at Vegas, anybody could have fun. If you went to, you went to Boise, Idaho, that's a different story.
Oh, if you can get through that, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll go see the blue football field. We'll go see the blue turf over there and see how it goes.
All right, but things are on its path.
Believe it or not, yes, it is possible.
Well, good luck to you, but to her certainly.
It's a miracle. If you would have said, 10 months ago, we're going to be wearing masks everywhere we go, there's going to be no fans barely at the World Series, and Lima has a travel companion, I would have said, what weird world am I signing up for? I don't know if I want anything to do with it.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Anthony Lima, 92.3 The Fan is here. You can also email during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. We'll come back in a minute. When we come back, we're going to find out what the Browns have to do to get that win in Cincinnati. It now becomes, if you're thinking of playoffs, I believe it's a must-win situation. Is that correct? I think so. We'll get Anthony to respond to that one. And we'll also take a look at the next 5 games after including the Bengals game. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
You have this consecutive, game streak that you've had throughout your career. So I wanted to ask you. We know you keep saying that you've been working back to full strength from the hip. The hit you took against the Colts, has that had any lingering effect? Are you pushing through something additional now to keep going the way you always do?
Yeah. So that hit actually broke one of my ribs. So I'm still kind of dealing with that and playing through that and just kind of, out here in practice, just doing whatever I can and, giving it my all on Sundays.
So have you ever had a broken rib before?
Oh, never.
Okay. So what's it like to play through that?
It hurts. Depending on the play or, whatever is, at times it's bearable, but, we've done a good job of making sure that, I'm getting a little protection here throughout the week and then making sure that I cover it up and do whatever I need to do to play on Sundays.
Sleeping, breathing, is that hard or is that too dramatic?
Yeah, all normal stuff. All normal stuff that, I guess one would anticipate from, having a ribbon.
Hey, Anthony, who was it that asked those questions? Any idea?
Yes, it'll come to me in a second. But,
do you think they should take his credentials away for asking, does it hurt?
I've
had broken ribs. I can't open my eyes for 6 months.
Look, the Browns do have some competitors. We've wondered about that in the past, about whether guys, were going to tough things out. There have been things read, things said or written about certain Browns players over the years. Of course, those are guys on bad teams that didn't have a chance to make the playoffs. However, with that said, we always ask for candor when it comes to the players, and then this is the catch-22. This is where we slam them for candor. I'm not exactly sure that I'm giving that information. I'm offering that information up if I'm Jarvis Landry. Just saying. I don't know that I'm taking that tact of giving people a huge target.
Right.
The ribs are pretty extensive part of the entire body, the entire anatomy here. I don't know if I'm giving that up to anybody.
I had a coach in high school, Bob Kilfoyle, one of the great guys of all time, and he played a little bit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, maybe an exhibition game or two, but he played when Johnny Unitas wasn't the first-string quarterback. He was trying to be it for Pittsburgh at the time. So it was somebody, then Johnny Unitas, then Bob Kilfoyle, who played at John Carroll, and he hurt his ankle one game, or in a game, and the next game, so that the other team wouldn't come after him, he taped up the other ankle. Just to make him
brilliant. That's why he's
he made it through the game. There's no problem at all.
Les, imagine if, you're in a big debate. Let's say you had to debate something and you're on the debate team, right?
Yep.
Let's say there was one tonight. Let's say the world was at stake. What I probably wouldn't do the day before the debate is tell them whatever they do, they better not go after any of my family.
Right.
Because that would really upset me. And I hope they don't do that and they have the decency not to do that.
And don't ask about any other country. Hey, I have a question. You know, this show is not political, despite the fact that I have a degree, as do you, in political science. So please, I know I'll get emails because I got them the last time I brought this up, but I'm asking almost all of our guests. In the last 4 years, have you heard Hail to the Chief?
The song? Or
where did
are
it
you
go?
Talking about, I thought you were talking about David Njoku, who does the Chiefs slam when he catches a touchdown. Hail to the Chief? Yeah, when they bring the president out.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it.
If you tune in early enough, you got to tune in early enough, but they'll still play it.
Early enough because what? It's the opening song. It's the warm-up bit.
Maybe some of the networks that you get your news from, Les, maybe they don't catch any of that early enough.
I want to know, because I get miscast quite often. Just which way do you think I would go on the ballot?
Oh, I think you'd go so far both to the left and the right, depending on the actual column. I think you might get your head spinning in there in the election. But I don't even know if you know who you're voting for sometimes, Les.
Well, that's not possible that anybody doesn't know who they're voting for. It's not possible.
Believe it or not, I actually think there is a segment of the population that not only do they not know who they're voting for, I think they even tell themselves, you know what? It's going to come to me when I walk into the booth. I really believe there's a segment of the population that does that. There are people that vote differently I have an aunt, Les, and I shouldn't give you this information. She voted Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. And she's changed every single election.
Whenever the Olympic Games are in the Eastern Hemisphere, she goes one way?
Well, she also probably explains why she can't remember my name sometimes.
Oh, okay.
That's another story.
All right, can you remember Odell Beckham's name and tell me what the heck he's doing now, from a guy who was very happy 2 weeks ago to a guy not happy and getting up and down the sideline? What's going on now?
Well, I think it's as simple as a guy that's supposed to be a superstar is in the 24th in the NFL in targets. He's 40th in yards. He's 35th in actual receptions. You see it all there. I mean, this is very different from the Odell Beckham you trade a first-round pick for and a former, what was it, a second-round pick.
Do you think they made the trade for the 2 catches that he made in the one game?
Well, that's the thing. That's still in there. You know it's still in there, although now he's talking about a toe injury. I don't know. Odell, he's had some bumps and bruises over the years. I don't think he's as bad of a teammate as some people would like you to believe. But I also think when wide receivers like Odell, with the popularity as famous as he has more Instagram followers than any NFL player. He's like an NBA player on a football field. I think when they feel like they're not living up to something, or a quarterback is not getting him the ball and focusing on him enough, I think there might be some things behind the scenes. So
yeah, but
it's
a week ago it seemed to be okay.
Yeah. It could be temperamental with Odell. They knew that when they traded for him. I know Dorsey's gone now. They knew it. They knew the highs are high, the lows are low. So the goal is keep the highs high and continue to have the highs. And luckily they're 4-2. They can be 5-2 with a win over Cincinnati. And receivers can't say anything on a 5-2 football team.
By the way, we haven't talked about this, but I think the LSU self-imposed penalty that they got, I think it was totally unfair. Totally unfair. Unless there's something else they're hiding.
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's LSU saying we're self-imposing, go away. You've seen schools like Ohio State over the years self-report secondary violations. That's what they're calling this. And it enables them to just move on and get the wrath of the NCAA away from their campus at Baton Rouge, as they say it down there. So I think that's all it is, Les. I think they're saying, unfortunately, we're going to have him take one for the team to allow us to continue being LSU.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't say he shouldn't have been penalized. I just said the school shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But, all right, 216.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
216-575-0403. Email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Anthony Lima here from 92.3 The Fan. Right now, Smiley One, making it very easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family and you to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. We'll come back in a moment. Anthony Lima with us. You hear him with Ken Carmen from 6 until 10 on 92.3 The Fan. Back in a moment. Powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports from Les Levine. Les, Anthony, we've heard it all week from national media critiquing Baker Mayfield after his poor performance on Sunday. ESPN's Ryan Clark is one of the latest to get in on the action. He said, when I look at the league and went around the divisions, there are about 22 quarterbacks offhand that I would take over Baker Mayfield. And in a 32-team league, that makes you below average. Against winning teams, he is 4-13. He has 29 turnovers to 24 touchdowns in those games. That's below average quarterback play. Then you've got Dominique Foxworth from ESPN. I hate to see it. I like the personality. I like the brash. I personally like the commercials. He's a phenomenal actor, but you got to learn how to throw some touchdowns and not interceptions in this league if you want to hang around and keep getting those commercials. Then Mike Greenberg responded to his comment. He said, if not, the future might be more in acting than it is in football. I don't mean to be funny, but that's the reality. So, Les, Anthony, my question to you guys is this. How confident are you guys that Baker Mayfield is still the franchise quarterback for the Browns?
Take it away, Anthony.
Well, I find something insulting there, and it was Mike Greenberg thought that line was funny. Also, if we were going to talk about acting, I'd like Baker to start acting like a top 15 quarterback, and then we could put this to rest. Thing is, we know Baker has it in him. We know he has it in him because we saw some instincts his rookie year that looked like a guy who could be not only a franchise quarterback, but also an elite quarterback. Yes, the Freddie Kitchens era did not help him, But now they've got everything around him, and they have really told him just play within the system. And unfortunately, he hasn't even been able to do that. He did have a couple games where he game managed, like he did against Cincinnati in the first game and against Washington. I'm afraid it's going to have to be more of that going forward, just so that the team can pick up his fifth option. But if it's more like we've seen in the last 6 quarters against Indianapolis in the second half, against what we saw in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and of course Baltimore to start the year, then they have to realistically think about trying to get something else as a solution for a season next year, which is going to be so big, a team that can contend, especially if they spend some money on defense.
All right, you want to go out and go get Trevor Lawrence for next year and go through this whole thing, this whole quarterback thing again? Or Justin Fields? Is that what you want to really do?
They're not going to have the ammo to do either of those things. Those guys are going to go 1 and 2, and the team's at the top of the draft. They're just not going to let that happen. And I could make the argument that with the way the team is constructed, they're ready to pounce next year and the year after. So would you go after a veteran quarterback, say a Matt Ryan? And reports were out this week that the Atlanta Falcons were looking to wheel and deal both Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Now, some people think Matt Ryan's over the hill. I still think he's got a lot of game left in him. He still has a quarterback rating near 100. He's had some big games this year. Maybe a change of scenery would help. But that's not a long-term solution, and some people are going to be a little bit squeamish on doing something like that.
In all these years of going after quarterbacks, drafting them or whatever they have to do, and put them in a package in a trade and everything, you brought up Matt Ryan. I hadn't even thought that as a solution, that you go get a veteran quarterback, because I'm not sure who's out there. You know, when I think of Case Keenum, we're told he's one of the better backups. I don't want him starting for me either. So I want to give, first of all, Baker gets a bad deal because he gets hurt, and at the same time he's losing, he loses Nick Chubb, and he's got some linemen that are gone. I'm not trying to feel sorry for the guy. I want to see this next batch of 4 or 5 games and see what he does, because that's when you're going to make the decision on him.
I agree. He needs to get back, and unfortunately, he looks banged up to me. So he has some things working against him. I think Tim Couch right now is thinking, oh, I remember those days. Right now, he needs to play better this week against Cincinnati. They need to be able to run the football the way they did in the first game against Cincinnati. Remember, earlier in the year, they had a game with 300 yards on the ground. Beautiful. Let's try to crank it up. I don't know if you're going to get 300, but you still should be able to run the football.
Can you imagine how rough the media and the fans will be on Baker if they don't win against Cincinnati on Sunday? It's going to be as bad as anything we've seen in a long time.
It's going to take a lot of the goodwill away from those wins against Cincinnati and against Washington early on. And then you're looking at the Raiders, one of the better offenses in the NFL. Now, their defense is very poor, but they do have a good offense. Then what? You have the bye week, and then it's looking like Philadelphia, I think. And Carson Wentz, I mean, he still is capable of slicing and dicing your defenses. And we'll see him tonight against the Giants for Thursday Night Football. So he's got some opportunities. This is one of the easiest schedules I can remember, Les. They have so many winnable games. They have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Giants, the Jets, Cincinnati coming up this weekend. There are opportunities to strike. The Texans have a lot of losses. The Eagles have a lot of losses. So the wins can be there.
Tell me what the over-under is on games for Las Vegas to be in there before they hit the wall on the entertainment part of their schedule.
Las Vegas gets very interesting.
Could you imagine them playing there all the time, bringing the kids?
Yeah, but I think that was part of the NFL's marketing dream, that they couldn't get these big crowds in LA. So let's put a team right there, epicenter of the sports wagering world. It's now legal to do any of that. And so people that are in Cleveland, let's say you're playing in November and it's cold, hey, we'll go out to Vegas. We'll go see our favorite team. And they're probably going to have more road fans in attendance than actual home fans.
There's no base of fans there for Vegas.
No.
All right, we're coming back one more time. 216-575, maybe 2 more times. 575-0403 is the number to call. Anthony Lima does a great job with 92.3 The Fan, along with Ken Carmen. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations. Lakeland Boulevard, that's in Euclid. You've got West 140th Street near the airport, and Freeway Drive in Macedonia. NortheastFactoryDirect.com. We are More Sports and Less Levine, and we've been doing this for 25 years on the TV side. Throw in another 25 for the radio. Why not? What the heck? There's nobody around who ever heard me back then anyway, so they wouldn't know I'm lying. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Hi, welcome back to more sports from Les Levine. Les, Anthony, one of the most glaring problems on the Browns defense is at free safety. Anderson Dahill is allowing over 70% of passes thrown his way to go for some completions. There are a few options at free safety in the free agent market that are still available that the Browns can pick up to help alleviate this problem. One of them is Eric Reed. He is 28 years old and he's got 7 NFL seasons under his belt. Last year, he registered 130 tackles, 4 sacks, and a fumble force, and he's got 11 interceptions in 99 career games. He's a 2013 Pro Bowler with the 49ers, and that year he had a career high of 4 interceptions. The next one, Earl Thomas, he's got some character issues, but he's still out there. 31 years old, 10 NFL seasons, 49 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble force in 2019, and he's caused 30 interceptions in 140 career games, and he's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Then you've got Clinton-Dix, 27 years old, 6 NFL seasons with Green Bay, Washington, and Chicago. Last year with the Bears, he registered 78 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 1 defensive touchdown, and he's got 16 interceptions in 96 career games. He was a 2016 Pro Bowler with the Packers, and that year he registered career-high 5 interceptions. So, Les, Anthony, do any of these options intrigue you, and do the Browns need to look out in the free agency market and find another replacement for Anderson Dahill at this point?
Anthony, doesn't it bother you when you see guys like that with resumes like that, and they get halfway through the season and you see that they played with, more teams than they've had years in the league, and immediately Brian actually said it about Reed. He said character issues right at the top. Doesn't that concern you in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, it's a risk for any organization willing to bring somebody in who's had a kind of a tumultuous background. The Eric Reed thing is interesting because some people think he's been blackballed from the league like Colin Kaepernick, but I don't want you to get emails, so I don't want to talk about that right now. But they need help, and they need help fast. I wonder when they're going to be willing to pull the trigger on a potential trade. You saw the Baltimore Ravens today. They pounced on another pass rusher in Ngakoue, somebody who was with Calais Campbell in Jacksonville. So he should fit right into their system. So you have teams like the Ravens who already beat you up. They're getting better. What are the Browns going to do? How long before they try to fix things? I think they wanted to get healthier to see where they actually needed to address. I think linebacker is in dire straits. I think Mack Wilson's been a huge disappointment. They're getting Carl Joseph back in the secondary. They're getting, obviously, Ronnie Harrison. So I don't know if any of these guys are going to make a big impact, though. with that defense. And I think that the work is cut out right now for Andrew Berry because he knows that defense is not good enough.
What are you saying? It's too late in the season to add somebody that can help?
No, I don't think it is at all. And you still have a bye week. You still have the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think they have plenty of time to get somebody in. See, this is the difference, though, with COVID this year. You can't have a guy come in and play within a couple of weeks. They've got to wait. They've got to clear all the tests, and then you have to try to teach them the system. So it could take a little longer, but there's still plenty of season left to get somebody in. Remember, all these guys are playing without any kind of an offseason anyway. So every player around the league has been thrust in on new teams and new situations.
Yeah, that's a good point. No question about that. You brought up something in the last segment that got me to think. You talked about resume or where guys have been. I'm trying to. Do you have anything on your resume that is questionable enough that if a potential employer actually checked it out, you'd say, don't look at line 17? Do you have anything like that?
Line 7. How about lines 2 through 17? The first line's a killer. But then after that, there's a lot of questionable things.
Well,
but yeah, there might be a few.
In the early 70s, when the Cleveland Crusaders were in town from the World Hockey Association, I did their play-by-play on Akron Cablevision. And I now think that if I had to find somebody that could verify that I did that, I don't think anybody's around. I don't think there's anybody who says, yeah, I saw Les Levine do that. Or, yeah, he worked for me. I couldn't give you two names. Bob Whidden, the former goalie for the Crusaders and a great hockey high school coach, would verify it. He's the only one in how big is the world now? How many people? Lots. Bob Whidden's the only one who could guarantee. He's the only one who could verify that I did those games. They were fun.
I think there's 1.3 trillion people. I think that's the latest.
Well, all right, Bob. Out of that, Bob would know. 216.
Bob would know.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, Browns at 4-2. We'd have killed to be 4-2 in many years, but it doesn't seem, as Baker said yesterday, it doesn't seem like a good 4-2. What does this whole thing feel like? Because 2 weeks ago it felt really good.
Wow, some people jumped on him nationally for saying that. I just got done watching a clip of somebody nationally who was just bashing him for saying that, and I actually liked it. I actually said, you know what? I like the fact that they don't feel 4-2 and that they feel they have to get a lot better. Because maybe perhaps that's the mindset. I thought at times last year, like when they beat Baltimore on the road and Nick Chubb ran loose and Baker was really good, I thought they acted like they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. And we saw what happened after that. They ended up 2-6 to start the season. So I kind of want them kind of dangling that carrot that they need to play a lot better, even in wins. Baker in that, was it the Colts game, said that's the worst he had played in his career. Well, he even played worse last week. Yeah. I like the fact that they're being honest about that. I don't know how Stefanski feels about that, but they know they need to get a lot better.
I think they should petition to go into the NFC East for a couple of years, just for a couple of years.
Boy, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice, wouldn't you? Those teams are spiraling out of control.
Instead,
they have to deal with the Ravens. They have to deal with the Steelers and Joe Burrow.
No problem. Let's go to, we have to deal with Dan in Hubbard, Ohio. Hello, Dan.
Thanks for that, Les.
My pleasure.
I got a couple things to say on what my opinion of Mayfield is. I don't like his, I never liked his attitude. I think, like, even his clip today I watched, he's got an arrogance about him that turns people off. But
most quarterbacks have them. Most quarterbacks have that arrogance.
Nah, his is different. Anyways, I like Coxon, don't get me wrong. He's a tough kid. I mean, he took that shot in the back in the second quarter. I didn't think he'd get up. And he stayed in. I mean, he seems like a tough kid. But do you ever question his, like, I wonder what he'd do. Do they still give the Wonderlic test? Sometimes his football IQ, it just kind of like doesn't seem like he's looking off. He throws. And
yeah.
I don't think football IQ is that good.
I think they still do the Wonderlic, don't they, Anthony? You haven't heard that much about it the last couple of years.
I haven't heard that name for years. Remember?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm waiting.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. Oh, just remember, the greatest one was Clifford Charlton. He scored a 3, and we still drafted him. And I think you get one.
Yeah, Dan, I would say this. The one thing about Baker that people raved about coming out was his ability to draw plays on a whiteboard and try to explain concepts. And it wasn't just the Browns saying that. Supposedly the Patriots really enjoyed it as well. But it's one thing to do it on a whiteboard, as guys like Trent Dilfer and Dan Orlovsky can do. It's another thing to do it on a football field when guys are coming after you and you have limited sight. And I think that's the problem with him. And he's got to get over this. He doesn't have as much time, I think, as some people think he does.
And your rib is attached to your foot at the time when that's happening.
Yeah. One more thing, when you talk about maybe blowing up and getting a veteran quarterback, I'd like a Matt Stafford instead of Matt Ryan.
Matt Stafford
is 2 years younger.
Stafford may be the most underrated quarterback out there.
Yeah, and he's 2 years younger or 3 years younger than Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan's 35, he's 32.
All right, Dan.
They make comparable money. Hey,
great talking to you. I got to move on. Thank you very much. We got one more segment to go with Anthony Lima. If you try to reach us and you can't because we're talking to other people, including our guests, you can call the voicemail of Truth and Reason at 216-200-6650. 216-200-6650. It is the voicemail of Truth and Reason, and we are powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment with Anthony Lima. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night on the Weekend Winner Edition, Dan Labbe, he's the one on the left, not 00. Dan Labbe and Marissa Contapelli will join Dave Bacon. We worked with Marissa back in the day. She does a terrific job. She's working with the Bengals right now. You see us Monday through Thursday from 6 until 7, and that's Eastern time. And again, you can archive us all day long and all night long. Anthony, we got an email to deal with. You got to deal with D-Man's email here. This is from Joe in Pennsylvania. Hi, Les. I always enjoy listening to your show on the air the day after games. I think you and the D-Man were too critical of Odell. I listened to him talk on the game, and he gets it. For too long, we've had players, coaches, etc., who didn't give a damn about this team and were only there to collect a paycheck. As a fan, I love the way Odell takes the game seriously and wants to win every game. I question D-Man's comment that every player wants to win every game. Great show from Joe in Pennsylvania. You agree with D-Man that everybody wants to win and they show it in different ways?
I do think we get carried away sometimes in that. Look, Tom Brady is somebody who's smashing tablets on the sideline. There's plenty different ways to get this done. The thing about Odell is he just can be an emotional roller coaster. So the goal for him is to try to rein it in and use it as fuel for when he's out on the field. And I think oftentimes he'll have these huge games. And he did against Dallas. I mean, there's only a couple guys in the league that can do what he did against the Cowboys. But then there are games where he can get talked right out of the game. And that happened at Tennessee in the opener last year. That happened at Baltimore in the opener this year. That happened at Pittsburgh. And I think he can get distracted. And the book is out on that, I think, with certain teams. Now, not every team has the actual personnel to be able to do that to him. but those teams I just mentioned do, and you know the book is out, and they're going to be attacking him. It doesn't bother me that he was emotional on the sidelines. I like the fact that somebody was trying to get in the face of the teammates. The only question is, does he have the credibility with his teammates to do that?
Well, that's exactly
Some
what
guys don't.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Odell or Jarvis Landry, when he has the broken rib or whatever he's got, and he's out there playing, he's not complaining to anybody. That gets the attention of the guys in the locker room. Odell, at this point, to me, I think he's still thought of for those 2 great catches he made in a Giants uniform, and hasn't proved, as you just suggested, hasn't proved it to his teammates here or the fans. Although you don't need to prove it to the fans; they'll follow if he plays well. But I don't think that he's coming off as he thinks he's coming off.
Boy, this is going to be something to monitor, Les, because I do think he likes it here in Cleveland. I do think he likes playing with Jarvis. But if that production continues to toil where it is, which is not even close to even Pro Bowl level, forget elite, he's not even close to Pro Bowl level, then I think he's a guy that's going to bother him internally. And he talks so much about 2020 being his year. He's going to be fully healthy. He's going to be ready to go. And we've only really seen it in one game.
All right. Now, you know, my image on the football field is I'm a great clock controller, right?
Oh, yeah.
Clock management.
For sure.
All right, so I have to fess up, and I want to do this just for the credibility of my team and the guys who come here and do such a great job on the show. Yesterday, we had to let D-Man out a little bit early because he had a radio gig on WTAM at night. So he said he had to be out 2 minutes early, which is, in radio, it's an eternity. So I took a glance at the clock, and I'm perfect at clock management, as you know. And there were 6 minutes left, and I just ended the show thinking that was it. So I ended the show 6 minutes early yesterday. That doesn't mean we have to wait 6 more minutes at the end of this one.
I was going to ask if you owe him more time. You know, Les, the timeouts don't carry over to the next show. They don't. People think they do.
On a show? But they do in pro football, though, right? You always want to take. You always want to take those timeouts and take them into the locker room with you. That does.
Les, I've said this before, that everyone always rips these coaches in big games in prime time when the whole country's watching the one game on Thursday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. And I say, you realize that fans, this is the one edge fans have. Not only do we see the timeouts and the clock right there, we don't have to look anywhere else. We don't have to look at our players or go talk to them. We get to see it right there. We've also watched more actual football games than those coaches have. They watch the film of the games. We watch the actual game.
Yeah, that's my theory of it. And I'm not saying that you and I could do X's and O's better than them in a 2-minute drill, but I think we know when to use timeouts and when to go for the sideline and all that stuff. That's not a
But again,
strange...
we'd have to watch it just like we do now, at home, with the television, with the announcers
little
talking
popcorn,
about the timeout.
little popcorn. Yeah.
Oh, a few Negronis, a few bourbons, if you might.
Okay, well, congratulations on your new relationship. Hopefully it'll hang in there. You're worth
Les,
it.
my relationship is 20 years strong with more sports than Les Levine consecutively, by the way. That's my relationship.
All right, well, very good. I'll see you soon, okay? Thank you so much for joining us.
Might be 30 years. Thank you.
Could be. If you were, you're not even 30, but it could be. That'll do it for us. We'll see you. I'll see you on Monday when Bud Shaw will join us. Thanks to Anthony Lima and Stephen Means of cleveland.com did a great job on Ohio State. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.